Hello, beach friends. I hope you're ready to do some exploring. Today we're going to be walking from Blind Pass Beach to Bowman's Beach, and I'll give you all the details about how far of a walk it is and whether you should try it yourself. We'll talk a little bit about some shelling techniques, and as always, I'll identify all the goodies we find along the way. It was really hard to leave the beach on this beautiful day, so we're also going to sneak in a quick visit over on Captiva as well. So I don't know about you, but I'm ready to see what's out there, so let's go to the beach. Okay, let's start our day. We are over here at Blind Pass, and normally I would do the opposite. I would start at Bowman's and walk over here, but I'm doing a little different. We're here at Blind Pass. I'm going to try to make my way up to Bowman's. Not too much going on the water here, so I'm definitely going to start my walk. But there's something I want to point out. Other than this blue heron, which is pretty awesome, look at how calm the water is. The water out a little bit further, you can see the waves coming in, but here it's really calm. That's because there is a sandbar there, and that's actually blocking shells as well as the surf. So that's why the water is really calm right there. Looks like we have a little bit of a shell pile, some leftovers from last night's high tide. So there's definitely shells here, and you will notice it's a lot of the same ones. It's mostly a lot of arcs because they're sturdy. They're really kind of like thick shells, so they can take, not that we have much of a beating over here by any means, but they seem to stay intact a lot easier. These scallops are a little bit more delicate, but they still survive as well. Plenty of those to be found here. So I'm just going to kind of check out this shell pile. See if anything jumps out at me. Like this calico scallop, that is alive. All right, we're going to put that there for just a sec. Here is another calico scallop. Sanibel, in my opinion, does have the best scallops. And here we have yet another calico scallop. So a couple of bright colors. This fella is going to go back in the water. And we'll see what else is on the beach for us. So there is a little bit of a smattering. By no means is there any piles. Definitely stuff here. So I'm kind of hoping something will like wash up at my feet. A kitten paw. There's a little kitten paw. Oh, and here is a little spiny jewel box. That's one little horn. So we're just going to see. Oh, look at that. A chestnut turban literally washed up in front of me. I love when that happens. It was meant to be. So I'm just going to kind of mosey on down the beach, see what other kind of things might poke out, like this keyhole limpet. Awesome. Now there is a little bit of beach stuff on there, but that will absolutely easily pick right off. So I'm real happy with that little keyhole limpet. And this is a Florida fighting conch. It's got a little bit of that purple on the inside, which I definitely am convinced is not very rare. So we're looking at one of those Florida fighting conchs. And we're kind of a beat up apple murex. Look, if it's the only one you find that day, so be it. But I'm hoping to find something a little bit better. You know, something that kind of looks like that. So this is also an apple murex. This one is much more intact. It's got a little bit of texture to the shell, little flares on that left edge. Very, very nice. So we're kind of leaving the Blind Pass area here. It is low tide. It's 0.16, 66 degrees, perfectly comfortable, perfectly lovely. Okay, looks like we have here a banded tulip, which is actually a really good find for, in my opinion, on Sanibel. So that is a banded tulip. It's not perfect, but it's pretty dang good. Now, water shelling is my favorite. I'm not really seeing much in the water. To me, it looks like it's a lot of the same stuff that's already on the beach. So I probably am not going to bother too much in the water. It's kind of hard to see anyway. So just see what is getting pushed up here on the beach. Oh, a rather beat up calico clam. It is missing a little bit of its texture and veneer. Bunch of those sturdy shells, those arcs. Oh, we do have a yellow prickly cockle, a little juvenile one. Grab that. Oh, let's talk about pen shells for a minute. So this is a pen shell, and when they're alive, they bury the thin end of their shell in the sand. So they've got these byssus threads, they kind of attach themselves to something, and they're filter feeders. And so they will kind of leave that edge of the larger edge of their shell open so they can filter feed, the small edges buried. And then because the larger edge is exposed, that's why you're going to see more barnacles and other things attached to the larger side of the shell. So those guys spend their lives kind of half buried in the sand. Actually, so do angel wings. They kind of operate the same way. Here we have a bunch of those kitten paws, which are also rather sturdy. So they are going to survive a good beating. But again, we don't really get pounding surf over here in the Gulf. It's a little bit more gentle. And this is a rather beat up lightning whelk that I did manage to find. And the hunt is so fun. So you see something kind of big kind of rolling around in there. And I want to just give you a little bit of a tip. The ocean doesn't always come straight at the beach. It typically kind of will go to the left or to the right. So it's not always going to come right at you. And kind of see the waves here, how they're kind of going to the left. So if you saw a shell and you wanted to kind of chase it, you're going to want to kind of step to the left ever so slightly at each wave that comes in, so you can kind of follow that shell as it's getting pushed down the beach. So that technique kind of helps me as I'm chasing stuff in the water. Hopefully that'll help you if you kind of see a lump in there and you really need to chase that down. Kind of see where the waves are going and kind of move with the shell. Oh, we found a broken top of a lightning whelk, and it just was kind of pretty. So I decided I'm going to hold on to that. I know it's broken, just a piece of it, but I'm going to hold on to that piece of a lightning whelk. All right, the sun is just starting to peek up, and holy cow, it's pretty. So it's 7:41 in the morning. There's nobody else about. Okay, so let's talk a little bit where I'm at, where I'm headed. So I started at Blind Pass Beach. So that is where that little red marker is. So that's Blind Pass Beach, and just across the bridge. So the pass is the water separating the two bodies of land, and that other mass is Captiva. So we are headed up to Bowman's, which is up here, and I will be going from Blind Pass up to Bowman's, and I'll be following the coastline as much as possible. And some areas it's actually not going to be possible, and I will tell you about that when we get there. So it's going to be about a 2.2 mile walk from Blind Pass to where I'm headed, and then I'll be coming back again. So at this point, Blind Pass is behind me. I'm marching toward Bowman's, and you can kind of see up ahead where you do see the land. It's water land. There's no beach, and so we're gonna have to do a little bit of trailblazing. And I don't know that I necessarily would recommend this for people who aren't really familiar with the area, but once I get up there, I'll show you. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. But as we're headed over there, we're definitely going to see what is left on the beach here. Little this, little that. That is a buttercup lucine. Lots of arcs. Oh, I see something. Yay. All right, so that is, it's a little on the yellow side, which is kind of nice. So that was a calico scallop. Here's another scallop. Wonderful. All right. So that's really it. There was a lot of empty beach, and then there'd be a smattering of these shells. And so that's when I'm going to slow down and see what's there. Looks like we got another real pretty calico scallop. There we go. Here's one of the gastropods. So that to me looks to be an adolescent Florida fighting conch. It still has a little bit of its ridges to it. The juveniles have ridges, and the outer lip isn't quite as thick as the mature snails. So I'm just kind of admiring the view. It was beautiful out. And I spied one of the weird cousins. So this is a mossy arc. And it is related to the turkey wing, which is also technically an arc. But that is actually a really good specimen of a mossy arc. And this, I want to call these bam shells. Bam! Just turn it over and it's got that real pretty color. So that is a prickly cockle. And it's got gorgeous pink and purple colors on the interior. Now this is a juvenile Florida fighting conch that has all its ridges still. So those little bumps, those will eventually become larger bumps. But that little shell, that's just a juvenile Florida fighting conch. And here we have a lettered olive. Now we're real lucky over here in Southwest Florida that we can find them real shiny with their points. They don't get all beach worn like some of the other beaches north of here or on the other coast, on the east coast of Florida. Isn't that pretty? So that is also an arc. You know, very, very common. This happens to be a cut-ribbed arc. And I just think that they're real pretty. So I'm going to hold on to that. Oh, rough. All right, so that is a rough scallop. It's broken. It's a bummer. So I'm just going to leave that there. Okay, another one of those kind of sunburst calico scallops. Gosh, they're pretty. It should be a little more angular. It's a little bit worn down, but the color, I'm going to make an exception. And this is another calico clam that looks like somebody tried to drill a hole into that. So another critter tried to eat it by drilling a hole through its shell. Perhaps it was successful. I will never know. So now we're kind of coming up, and it's low tide. So you can imagine what this area would look like if it was high tide. It would, for all intent and purposes, it would be impassable. So I do know this area a little better. I've kind of come over here a couple of times. So if you're unsure, please turn around. Please be safe. Don't do anything that is going to put you in any kind of danger, because as the tide comes up even more, it's really going to cut off your ability to walk on the beach. But again, I know the area a little bit and I know how to kind of cut through. This beach used to be a lot different. It was a lot easier to kind of make that blind pass to Bowman's or Bowman's to blind pass walk, but there's been a lot of beach erosion, so it's a lot dicier than it used to be. And at this point, I still cannot get down to the water, so I kind of keep peeking to see if I can get down there. But heck, if I'm here, I might as well look for shells, right? So that's what I've been doing. As I'm walking along, oh, we have a turkey wing. So this is kind of the cousin of the mossy arc. So that is also known as a zigzag arc, but I like to call it a turkey wing. And there are piles of shells back here. Probably been picked through, but that's not to say that I won't at least peek just to see if there's anything good there. So I'm still trying to kind of get through this brush and down to the ocean. And when I can, I kind of just peek out. Here we have some ibis. So those are some little birds in the water there, maybe looking for mole crabs or coquinas. So I'm still trying to cut through. Oh, that's probably a cormorant, one of the other birds down here. So yeah, I could not walk through the water. So there is a path. This is close to Silver Key, but I will tell you, during the summer, this area, it's mosquito heaven. It's horrible. So just keep that in mind if you happen to do this in the summer. Right now it's a little bit cooler. I wasn't bothered by the bugs, but they can be miserable. There we go. After a bunch of trailblazing and kind of cutting through the woods, I finally made my way onto the beach again. Let's see if there's anything waiting for us here. Definitely stuff here. All right, another scallop caught my eye. Looks like something in the water there. A real pretty bright scallop. They're going to be easier to find just because of the bright colors. Here we have a surf clam. Here's a little one. They're a little browner than I normally find them, but there's some surf clams. Here is a buttercup lucine. Not so pretty on the one side, but oh, I love that yellow. I think it's so pretty. See if there's anything else just kind of hiding. Okay, well, this wasn't hiding, but we do have some horse conch egg casings. That's what those yellow things are. So hopefully the animal abandoned its idea of laying eggs on this pen shell. And you will see, like I was talking before, you see the barnacles on that larger side of the shell, the opening of the shell. So I guess this would be a good example of what not to do if you're a barnacle or a horse conch. Do not use that as a home or a place to lay your eggs. Oh, yay! A rose petal talon. And I do not typically find them over here on Sanibel, so that's kind of cool. Pink little talon. And we got a two fur, another one of those cut-ribbed arcs because I like them. And then a calico scallop, which is very, very round, but I still kind of like the pattern, so I'm going to hold on to that. Oh! Wouldn't want to pass this pretty little cut-ribbed arc either. Isn't that pretty? I just like the shape of them. Yep, kind of cool. Cut-ribbed arc. And this I thought was a lucine, but it's not. It is a white simile. So if it wasn't for that, there's lots of clues these shells have. It does look like a little lucine, but it is a simile. Now, you notice anything missing? People. When you walk away from the beach entrances, it is a fantastic opportunity to have the place to yourself. And here we have two more of those calico scallops. And this could have been hinged. I did not find them hinged, but both of those sides are going to be different. Kind of pretty. Now this, do you see what I see? It's the shape. It's covered a little bit with sand. I knew exactly what that was, but it's broken just a little bit though. So that is a flat, very desirable, very fun, cool, beautiful shells. Unfortunately, it's got a couple pieces missing, but I am still definitely going to hold on to that. All right, back in the woods, admiring this massive pile, probably of mostly common shells, but that's not to say I'm going to peek, just in case. Just in case there's a Junonia, you know, just laying there. Oh no, we better rescue this shell. We have a banded tulip. Okay, whew. All right, so that is a banded tulip. It's got a couple holes in it. But again, on a day like today, I'm going to go, yay, great find. I'm going to hold on to that tulip. Holy erosion. Yeah. So this is more, or another example of the erosion that's been going on here. And that's why the seagrasses and the dunes are so important, because it really kind of helps keep the sand on the beach. Here we have a turkey wing. So this is, again, that zigzag arc, but I like to call it turkey wing. A little funky shape, but it's okay. It's pretty good shape. And another tulip. All right, it's got a hole, so I'm probably not going to rescue it. Hopefully somebody else will. I see people, and so that means I'm coming up on Bowman's Beach. And so, again, once you walk away from those beach entrances, much better opportunities to have the place to yourself. And I managed to score this bright orange calico scallop. Hard to miss that. It's practically glowing. So I assume that away I'm going to find more of the same. So I'm just going to turn around and go back from whence we came. So it's 67 now. It really is pretty. Tide is really kind of coming in. And at this point, doing lots of walking, I'm going to go ahead and just let you have some beach time. I swear I could walk on a beach every single day and every single day still be amazed at all the beauty and the things I get to see. I just love it. And this is an apple murex that appears to have some drill holes in it. So perhaps this animal was eaten? We'll never know. And this is a jingle. They come in a bunch of different colors. I happen to like the black ones because you can really kind of see the nickname of these guys, which is the baby foot. So where the animal's muscle attached to the shell just kind of leaves that little mark on it, giving that shell a nickname of baby foot. And here's sea glass. I do get asked about sea glass. That's it. It's literally just glass on the beach. Mostly, I've probably found, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 legitimate pieces of sea glass. Mostly it's just garbage because, again, our waters are a lot more calm. It doesn't really beat up some of the stuff on the beach as it does in other areas. So taking another peek here, got some sturdy shells, got the arcs, the broad-ribbed carditas. Oh, might as well rescue this pretty little pink scallop. And this yellow one, I would never pass up a yellow scallop. I rarely find them. Very, very cool yellow calico scallop. And an angel wing. So this does the same thing as the pen shells. The thicker part on the bottom there will get buried in the sand and the top will kind of be open. Oh, what a bummer. It's got a hole and the edge is kind of broken, so I'm not going to hold on to that. But perhaps somebody else will. And it's too bad because it really is a gorgeous shell. But I'm not going to keep it. I'll leave that for somebody else. So back into doing the trailblazing. But you know what? Even the weeds here are pretty. I don't know if those yellow flowers are weeds or what, but man, I just love Florida. All right. I see a person, so that means I'm probably approaching, and I am. It's a bit still, but we're coming back up to the Blind Pass Beach. And along the way, it looks like we're gonna find one of those calico clams, not to be confused with the calico scallops. Don't know how some of these shells got their names, but that calico clam. Oh, a lightning whelk. Oh, and it was fun too, because it was kind of rolling around in the water. So finally, all right. It's a tiny bit beat up, but still happy with that lightning whelk. Oh, I didn't know it was the lightning whelk section. Okay, cool. So here we have a second, similarly sized. It's a little beat up, but still happy to see that. Yeah, here's a third lightning whelk. Okay, I'll take that. It is a little chipped, but again, I'm going to hold on to that. Saving the best for last. So this is the 4th lightning whelk I found. Boom, boom, boom. One right after the other. Real happy with that. Finally. So we're headed, here we are, back up toward Blind Pass. And the tide's coming in. I don't think you would ever really have trouble at least passing this part, but you might once you kind of get to those other areas. It is 74 degrees out. The tide has come in quite a bit. So it is 1.25 feet at this point. Just to kind of give you an idea. Oh, garbage. Well, at least it's La Cerveza Más Fina, right? So I will remove that from the beach. And those sandbars that we admired earlier are just about covered. Again, you can kind of tell that they're there because that's where the waves are breaking out there. But they're almost covered at this point. And there's still not a whole lot here at the point over at Blind Pass, but I'm just not ready to leave. It's just such a pretty day. I'm just enjoying myself so much. So here's Blind Pass, and man, Turner Beach over on Captiva is right there. So I think we should go over there too. See what else we can check out. We found a little hermie. I tried figuring out what kind of hermit crab this is. I just don't know. I do not know what kind of hermit crab this is other than gorgeous. Oh, pretty little critter. So that's one of the many different creatures that you can find when you come down here. And just keep in mind, anything that is alive in a shell must stay at the beach. So any critters in your shells, cannot take those home. It is illegal and not cool. Would you look at that water? Oh, it's just beautiful. And this is kind of cool over here at Turner Beach. They did a nice job on the restoration project. There's a lot more sand here that used to be, or that didn't used to be here. And of course we're going to find the kitten paws. They just migrate here over to Captiva. So not surprised we're seeing those kitten paws here. And as I'm here, I might as well grab a few. Oh, and Our Lady in Waiting Venus clam shell. Gonna have to take that one home too. So let's see what's on the other side of the jetty. Okay, looks pretty much like that first side, other than, gosh, it's pretty. What a beautiful day to be out. So there's, you know, a little bit of this, little bit of that. And I'm kind of hoping we'll find something a little bit bigger than a tiny little kitten paw. So here we have another one of those turkey wings. And this is completely viable. That probably would absolutely clean up fine. But I'm not in the mood for a project. So I'm going to leave that for somebody else. And there's the kitten paws. All over the place. I did grab a couple. Could you imagine? I would go home with bagfuls. Oh, here we have a seraph. So that is a dark seraph, and this is an auger. And what you really got to be careful with the shells that are by the water, because hermit crabs, I mean tiny little hermit crabs, will crawl in there. So I just wanted to be extra sure that it was empty, because that's a real pretty auger. So I'm going to hold on to that for sure. And guys, what in the heck? So this is a giant bittersweet clam. Again, the last time I was over here, I also found these really, really weird and awesome. Not going to complain. And so this is what we're kind of looking at. There's shells here for sure. There's another one of those little kitten paws, but there's not, you know, tons of your tulips and murex and I don't know, even your Florida fighting conchs. I mean, we really didn't even find many of those today, but you definitely have your kitten paws representing here. And probably, yep, your cross-barred Venus. So that I would also consider to be one of the sturdy shells. And so that is going to survive just about anything. Might get a little beach worn, but you're going to have a hard time finding one of those broken. Here's a little coquina. So those are very colorful. They only get about so big, but they're beautiful colors. And would you look at that view? Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. Couple of people. It really wasn't so bad, because at this point it's a little bit later in the day. Low tide has passed, but it was a really beautiful day to be out on the beach. Here is another dark seraph. They're real pretty and beaded, intricate, and that's about as big as they get. That's about it. So that is a dark seraph. And here we have, I'm going to say, a blonde and a brunette calico clam. So it is the same species, same critter would be in there, but just a little bit different color shell. Kind of neat. Oh. All right, we'll add that to the garbage collection. I have recently started weighing the garbage that I take off the beach, and I don't want to go. I didn't want to leave, but as all good things must end, so must my beach walk for the day. But there are a couple of things we need to review. For example, how much garbage we took from the beach. So today I managed to remove 0.69 pounds. So for the day it's 0.69, and in total, since I have been keeping track, it's been a little bit over 4 pounds. So kind of cool. And a couple of other kind of cool things I took from the beach. We got some jingles, that ponderous arc, a couple of those cut-ribbed arcs, some of those lightning whelks, the buttercup lucine, a bunch of real pretty scallops, because we were in Sanibel, and it's just like a prerequisite. If you're going to go to Sanibel, you're probably going to find real pretty scallops. A couple of those calico clams, one turkey wing, some of those kitten paws, the mossy arc, a couple of augers, the seraphs, only a few of those Florida fighting conchs, 2 tulips, 2 of the lettered olives, 2, oh look at that, 2 of the apple murex, and a partridge and a pear tree, and the chestnut turban, the giant bittersweet, and the flat. So, it wasn't buckets and buckets of shells, but it was glorious to be out there. Patreons, thank you. Thank you so, so very much for supporting me, for coming along. Everybody else, thank you so very much. Now, I haven't gotten on my next walk yet. I don't know if I'm going to tell you where I'm going. I'm going to keep it a little secret for now. So you just have yourself a great week, and I'm going to whip up something real fun for us to do next Sunday. So I will see you then.